brand new Formula 1 season is here, 20 drivers, each with their own lid to protect the dome. I'm going to rank all 20 in a tier list. This is my opinion, but let me know yours down in the comments below. My name's Tommo, and without further ado, let's talk about it. Now, rather than just saying, I like this, I don't like that, I'm trying to break each helmet down into 4 essential categories, starting with sponsor legibility. How well does this helmet showcase the sponsors? This is very important. They're the ones who bankroll the sport ultimately. And even if a helmet, I really like the look of it, if it's not very good for sponsors, it will have to get downgraded points. Distinctiveness, how much does it stand out amongst all the other helmets? Maybe contrast in the car, maybe match in the car, but how distinctive, unique, how special does the helmet feel? Colorway, how well do the colors work together? Are they balanced? They complement one another? Is it nice and simple? Is it too busy and too overwhelming with the colors? And finally, just vibes, okay? Just what I like, what my cup of tea is. Sometimes you can't quite articulate every single thing you like, and that's okay, okay? So we're gonna start with, the man of the moment has to be Max Verstappen, okay? The classic Red Bull lid that we've seen. Over recent years, he's really refined it. I believe last year he went for something, and this is almost based off of that, a throwback to his dad Jos's old helmet from back in the day. The blue and the red with the Red Bull, the yellow pops. This really complements the Red Bull branding. We've seen, Red Bull shoehorning their logo, and we'll see that on some other helmets in this tier list coming up, where it hasn't quite worked. And I think Daniel Ricciardo always found a way of making it work pretty well with his helmets. Other drivers, not so much. Bit fiddly in places, if you ask me, but sponsor legibility wise, there's not a crazy amount. Red Bull, great legibility. Heineken's decent placement on the side. Viaplay, there's a bit of gradient. Gate IO on the front. All in all, I think sponsor legibility ticks the boxes. Distinctiveness, again, there's quite a few Red Bulls on the grid, but I would say, I think the contrast in this, the white to the red to the blue, it's strong, it pops, and it's not crazy busy, and it's not super finicky. I don't like helmets, that's just a vibes thing, I guess, that are super too detailed. So it's not massively distinctive. I like the kind of lion on the top, but it's not bad either. Again, colorway's immaculate. I love the colorway. Vibes are great. If we're going to put this somewhere on the tier list, Max Verstappen's helmet right here, I'm thinking it's at least a small bang, if not a banger. I do really like what Max has done with this. We're going to put it in banger for now. We can always adjust as we go, but it's a strong start for Max a million, right? Okay, who do we have next? Reverse alphabetical order. It's Yuki Tsunoda. Another Red Bull branded helmet, white base. You've got the maple leaves, which I think are really nice inclusion that Yuki's used for a long time. And again, if we're going to be looking at all of these various elements, sponsor placement, Hugo, Red Bull, there's not loads of sponsors. Do they pop massively? No, but they're not overcrowded out. So I think it's doing a good job on that front. In terms of distinctiveness, it's very distinctive. Really distinctive. I love what Yuki does with it. Super simple, super drawn back. If I ever got my own helmet made one day, I would want to go with something fairly basic, fairly drawn back. And it's just simple elements on a white base. I'm happy with it. Okay, the colorway as well complements the Red Bull branding. The yellow to orange to red color palette on this, I think works very well. Vibes are great as well. Look, we've got a strong start here. We've got a strong start. And I'm going to put Yuki Tsunoda's helmet. I don't like it as much as Max's. I do prefer Max's. Small bang for now, okay? We're going to go, when we've got these populated, the best ones are going to be on the left, the weakest ones towards the right. We've got banger for Max. Small bang for Yuki, okay? Small bang for Yuki Tsunoda. Next, STR Stroll. Lance Stroll with the green, complementing the car. Very different approach to a lot of other drivers who go for a really distinctive pop helmet against their livery. It's fine, it's okay, like JCB's full colour Valvoline. It's legible, it's doing its job from a sponsor placement point of view, definitely. Distinctiveness, very low. I do quite like the matte green, and I don't mind at all a helmet that really complements the car. Sometimes, I guess for me, it's like, I either really want it to complement the car or to be a complete departure, right? And I think this complements the car really well, clearly. Colorway wise, again, decent, and I like the finish. I like the fact that it's not glossy. Vibes, I don't know, it's okay. It's not bad. Lance Stroll, you're gonna go. I think it's kind of the definition. There's not really much I don't like about it. I could probably put it in mild clang, but I'm gonna put it in mid for now because that does feel harsh. Because in isolation, I do like the helmet. It's a decent lid, Lance. You've not changed it much over recent years, so I'm quite satisfied. I'm quite happy with that. Vamos. Oh, vamos. Okay. Sponsors. Atlassian. Lovely placement on the side. Komatsu, which is on Alex's helmet as well, on the top. And again, sponsor placement generally is dictated by the team. So both drivers typically have sponsors in the same place. Estrella Galicia, Kraken. The Duracell on the side, I really like that on the visor strips as well. Sponsor placement's great. Very distinctive. You've got the contrast of you've got 4 colours basically going. Technically 5, there is an orange in there, but you've kind of got 4 colours going on. The 2 blues and then the yellow, the red. Super contrasty, super bright popping. Part of me thinks this might look better in matte rather than gloss, just because the colours are so strong. I don't think it needs a glossy finish, but I'm being super picky there because I absolutely love this. The colourway, fantastic. Unbelievable. Sainz, you've done a phenomenal job bringing your Spanish colours to, not Enstone, Grove, to Williams. Carlos Sainz, your helmet, mate, is going in banger, and it's going ahead of Max's as well, actually. We're going to put Carlos here, and we're going to put Max here. I absolutely love what Vamos has done with his lid. 10 points to Williams. Early doors, come on. Get on the podium, Carlos. I'd love to see it. Right, fantastic job from Carlos Sainz. Next, Oscar Piastri, the man of the moment. I'm not looking at his special edition Australia helmet, okay? I'm just looking at the 20 base helmets for this. He does have a special edition green version of this, but this is his standard base helmet. Sponsors, I think they're struggling here. I do. There's a lot going on. And obviously Monster's very prominent, OKX. I think the sponsors aren't popping as much as maybe they should on a helmet. Distinctiveness, this kind of fiddly pattern where you've got the blue swooshes going through and gradients knocking about. I don't think this is very distinctive at all. And the colorway, I don't like it. There's way too much going on. Color-wise, for me, way too much going on. Oscar Piastri, I'm afraid. This side on profile, like this is the render. I'll shout out Miles, who worked on the design for this. This is nothing personal at all, Miles. Is it a clanger? It kind of is. I just don't think it's not made up for me not liking it by being like really good for the sponsors or whatever. Like I just don't like it. Sorry, Oscar. I don't like the lid, I'm afraid. But I mean, the green one he's running this weekend is nicer, and his template this template does have legs, okay? Because his Monaco helmet last year, the Senna Tribute, phenomenal. That's what he needs to run, a yellow and green helmet. That needs to be his helmet, okay? Australian, right? As well as Brazilian, no brainer. And he's gone back to this, and it's a shame because I don't like it. I just don't like it. I'm sorry. Next, we have a driver we've technically broken the reverse alphabetical order. It's Russell, okay? It should have been before Piastri, but there we go. His bright blue helmet that George has managed to kind of own. I think it's always good for a driver to try and own a colour. If you can own a colour outright, amazing, which George has managed to do with the kind of bright icy blue. It's a really nice blue, really like it. Or like a colour combination, like, you know, Fernando has done with his helmet, like I think Carlos does with his helmet, the Spanish colours on the side. I really like what George does. He hasn't changed it massively over recent time, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So sponsor placement wise, CrowdStrike, Solera, Signifier Code, like they all stand out really well. I like the little Adidas's on the visor strip as well, Petronas. It's a simple colour. It's a 2-colour black and blue helmet, and that's always going to help the sponsor logos pop compared to, say, Oscars, when there's just so much stuff. I think George has done a very good job. I really do like his lid, and you might not like his T-pose, which is dropped in the new F1 promo thing, but this is a very strong helmet. Do I like it more than Max's? I'm gonna say no, but I still think it's a banger. I think it merits more than... I don't know. I think it's going to be competitive. You know what? We'll put it small bang for now. We'll put it for small bang for now. Things can absolutely change. Very well done, George Russell. Very good lid. Next, CON, Esteban Ocon. Now, Esteban's helmets over recent years have been very, very hit and miss, and they've been missing more than they've been hitting as of late, but it's moved now to Haas. This, especially from that side-on profile, really smart. Just like George, we've got a very simple colour palette here. We've just got the black and then red instead of George's blue, but it's a bit more 50-50 weighted here for Esteban. So again, sponsor legibility wise, this is top, right? Because you've got the white text on the red, and there's not too many, so that they can really sing and shine. And again, this is meant to be as much of a billboard as the livery. Colorway, black and red with a bit of white, is never going to miss. Distinctive, it's not that distinctive. I would say George's is quite distinctive because it is that kind of one color. Esteban's not so distinctive, but that's okay. Okay, and the Toyota Gazoo Racing on the front as well, that's taking pride of place. Esteban, you've done a very, very good job with this, mate. It's, I'll tell you what, just looking at this here, right? We're going to move Yuki's here because Yuki's is good. These two, man, these two. I think I'm going to put George ahead of Esteban because blue is a bit, and that I really like that bright blue, okay? And red is red, and there's enough red in F1. We're very used to seeing red in F1, but I think it's still a small bang. It's still a small one. I'm still happy with that. Well done, Esteban. Very, very good. Very, very smart. Right. Next, we have N for Norris. Lando Norris with his bright... You've got to say, this is distinctive, right? As helmets go, this distinctiveness, the distinctivity of Lando Norris's helmet is unquestionable. And in terms of colour as well, colourway, like the neon with the black, big contrast, bold, can't complain. Monster Energy works with his colourway as well. So that sponsor is really nicely integrated on Lando's helmet versus, again, Oscar's, where it just kind of gets a bit lost in a bit of a mess. Vibes wise, he's been running this kind of style helmet for a minute now, isn't he, Lando? And it's not massively my cup of tea. It ticks so many boxes, but ultimately the vibes box also has to be ticked. It's not crazy my cup of tea. I can see why people like it. I can see why people really don't like it. It's pretty Marmite. As helmets go, it's a pretty Marmite helmet. I think he's done a good job with it. It's going in small bang, okay? It's going in. I've been very kind to these helmets, to be honest. I've been very, very kind to these helmets. We're very top-loaded at the minute. We'll see if that carries on with the next driver, who is Charles Leclerc. Oh, Charles. Oh, this is a bit of me. Charlie's had some decent helmets over recent years. This is up there. This is very, very nice. Sponsors work pretty well. IBM, Unicredit, Bitdefender. You've built in these sections to break up the sponsor logo so they're not tripping over each other. The 16 on the side. When I first saw that, the CL16, I wasn't 100% sure about it, but actually, with a bit more time, I really like it. I also like that it's quite blocky. So the top of the helmet, where his slap is very red, and then the chin, right, chinwag, very white. I like that from the front angle, and then you go around the side, and it all kind of mixes into each other a little bit. This is bellissimo. This is simply lovely. Charles Leclerc, your lid is already in banger, and it's staying in banger. And I like it more than Max's helmet. Oh, Carlos versus Charles, man. Ex-Ferrari, current Ferrari. I'm going to say Carlos ahead of Charles. I just think this colour palette is super distinctive, but I've got a lot of love for Charles Leclerc's helmet this year. Pause. I've got a lot of love. It's very nice. It's very, very nice. It's very, very smart. Well done, Charles Leclerc. Right, next we have... Who's next? Oh, it's another L. It's Liam Lawson. Right, okay, so, of course, I did do a video with Liam Lawson a couple of weeks ago, and we did livery, and I did my livery redesign, and I kind of based it in many ways on his helmet. The Red Bull branding, which you have to have in full colour, and then he's got his own white and pink, okay, that he's integrated with the kind of Maori pattern and the New Zealand leaf on the top. There's some really nice elements here. Brand visibility wise, I mean, outside of Red Bull, there's not a load of logos on here, and I think they would get a bit lost, so it's not massively, from that point of view, it's not great, I'd say, from a sponsor point of view. Distinctive wise, distinctivity, the Maori pattern is quite distinctive. Outside of that, it's it does feel a bit generic. And then the colours, obviously having the full colour Red Bull, you know, if this was a stripped back, you know, one colour Red Bull logo, I think it would look a lot better than it does. Compared to the other ones we've seen, it's not quite hitting. So begrudgingly, I'm gonna have to move it down into mid. It's not a clang. It's below Stroll's though. I like it. It's all right. It's okay. The competition here is tough, and I think making this Red Bull branding, full color branding, work with his white and pink is just asking a little bit too much, I'm afraid, Liam. So I'm gonna have to move on, mate. I'm afraid. Okay, this one's gonna be interesting. Nico Hulkenberg. Now, as of late, I've not been a huge fan of Nico's colour choices, okay? And I think this is a strong template that he's had since the Renault days, right? And when this helmet was in black and yellow, unbelievable, right? Great lid. And then he started messing around and he had all these kind of weird colours. Colourway this year, spot on, right? Because he's matched, you know, Sauber with the black and the bright green. The stars are cool. There's like a pattern behind the stars. It's quite fiddly. And the sponsors, I mean, you've got Liberex on the side, kind of gets lost. Kamosi, Admin Borough Quest kind of get lost a bit. Not great from that point of view. I think there's the potential for an amazing lid here, but unfortunately it has come up a little bit short. However, I do like it. Vibes for me kind of put this in small bang, but reality for me puts this in mid. I feel like this had the potential to be much better than it is. Sorry, Nico. Just, you know, can't win them all, fella. Well, can't get on the podium. Oh, that's harsh. That's very harsh. Imagine all this time Nico's been not on the podium and it's Sauber, like the worst team by, maybe not considerable margin, but definitely the worst team, and they deliver it. Imagine the scenes. That would be unbelievable. Right. Okay. Special lid coming up next because we've got Lewis back to yellow like he originally used to run when he was a kid. Big, bold contrast to the red car around him, but obviously matching the yellow in the Ferrari shield. This was always a bit of a no-brainer, really, to go for. And he's kept the same base design that he has for a long time with the stars. Obviously got the 7 stars on the side. Colour point of view, pops. Great, right? Really like that. It's a bit fiddly. You got the red with the kind of gradient where the VGW plays along like kind of just under his mouth. Don't love that. Sponsor wise, yeah, sponsors pop. Yellow's a kind of tricky colour sometimes, and I think it's bright enough that the black Bitdefender logo and the Unicredit's obviously on white, so that pops. The base elements are there. I just think what's holding this back for me is the fact that he has stuck to his pre-existing design. I would have liked him to see something completely new from Lewis, to be honest, along with the yellow, and something a bit more blocky, a bit less fiddly. All these little thin lines just never typically toot my horn, to be honest. So, and this was voted the best one, wasn't it? And it's cool. It's cool, but it's mid for me. It's okay. It's all right. Could have done better, in my opinion, for what it's worth, which is very little. Okay, next. Isaac Hadjar. Just like with Liam, he has to kind of battle with the full colour Red Bull branding. He's gone with a bright neon, which of course many a driver has run bright neon. It seems to be it's mainly kind of Lando, and we'll see, you know, there's another helmet later coming up from another rookie that's got some bright neon. I feel like this helmet, I think this is a Schuberth helmet, I want to say. I think the actual helmet itself is kind of carrying this a little bit because it looks quite aggressive at the front. It's decent. I actually quite like this. The base composition is nice. Look, if the Red Bull wasn't in full colour, like I said about Liam's, it would be hitting a lot more, but unfortunately it kind of has to be. Again, sponsor legibility is Red Bull, boom, fine. Colour palette is... Actually, the colourway doesn't work for me, but the composition, the way they've designed it, as much as it is fairly generic, with the kind of swooshes and the lines up, I've got time for it. However, again, it's a very, very competitive lineup here, so I'm going to have to put it in mids. But I do think I'm going to put it ahead of Liam's. It's going to go here. These are very close. These 3 here actually are very close. There's a bit of a jump up for Lewis, but yeah, Liam, then Isaac. I'm happy with that order. Right, next, crack on. Who we got next? We have got Pierre Gasly with the blue, almost very Palace-esque. Remember when Alpine dropped the Palace jackets last year before last, whenever it was, that you just can't get for anything under than like 600 quid online, which is ridiculous. The camo is cool. Obviously, sponsor legibility, it struggles. The BWT on the side, if anything, it's like too small, right? I'm all for sponsors being smaller sometimes, but I feel like the BWT maybe should have been bigger. The orange ENI on the top, this bit here, right? See at the top where it's in full orange, the ENI? That doesn't work at all. And I think that blue camo could have been cool, but it's way too fiddly for me. This is going to be the first helmet to take up the mild clang section in my tier list. So I think there's a lot that could have been done with that to make it really decent. Having more base white on it to make the contrast between the base white and the camo, the blue camo, kind of shine a bit more. That would have been nice to see. I think there's more that could have been done with that to make it more distinctive and more special, because using the camo is cool in theory. So sorry, Pierre, mild clang for your lid this year. Next, who we got? We've got, okay. We've got a hell of a helmet coming up next. Jack Doohan. He might not be an F1 for long, but if he is, this is a hell of a lid. Now, massive points for distinctiveness here, right? He's not gone with a classic, we're going to do lots of very thin swooshes and blah, blah. The way the helmet kind of comes over from the back, and he's had this design for a while now. So I think he's got the koala on the back. Quite hard to find pictures of Jack Doohan's 2025 helmet, turns out, but we got there in the end. This slaps. Love it. Color combo's great. Looks unreal on the car. It's like every time I see that Alpine, I like it more. And the blue and pink should be able to work together, and it works an absolute treat on this helmet. You've got the black in there as well, and the white with the blue and the pink really standing out. Such a distinctive design. The sponsors, it's working for me. It's working well, and because you've got those empty elements along the pink, along the front. This is an unbelievable lid, and for me, it's like, how high do I put it? It's so different. It's so distinctive. It's top of banger. I love it. It's just so cool. It's so different, and he's really been creative with it, and he's got this style when he's running through. And so many of these, you look at these side by side, and you're like, look at Jack Doohan's helmet, and then look at like Lewis's, and it's like, that's something I wanted to see from. I feel like Lewis is such a creative person. I'd love to see him go and push the boat out with his lid design, and it just hasn't. And Jack has just got this. I just love it. It's so good. If you're not around in F1 for long, you've left us a hell of a lid. All right, so thank you for that. Next, Gabriel Bortoletto. Now, this, of course, the first Brazilian back in F1 since Felipe Massa retired. And Senna tribute, of course, that colour palette is always going to slap. I said earlier about Oscar Piastri when he ran his Senna tribute last year at Monaco. This works really well. The colours are spot on. Okay, you can't miss with the navy blue, the green, the yellow, and then white in there as well. And again, the way it's been designed, the sponsors do have space and room to breathe. I mean, the Kit Kat doesn't look great on the side, but whatever. It is a bit fiddly in places for me. If it was a bit simpler and more just kind of plain, solid, blocky, I'd like it even more. There's very, very little to say bad about this lid. I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put Gabriel Bortoletto at the top of Small Bang, because it's close. It's close to a banger. It's not quite there, but it's very, very close for me. This is very good. And look, the helmets have been strong this year, okay? So the fact that it's top heavy, I'm not too concerned about. Next, we have Oliver Bearman with the neon yellow, as you can see from the kind of top, or you can see from all the shots. Some shots it looks kind of greeny yellow, sometimes it looks more yellowy yellow. And I prefer it when it's just yellowy yellow, actually. A bright yellow is a bit more different, I think, than a neon, because neon's been used quite a lot recently. And then you've got the blue with white hits and the black. The blue's not doing a lot for me because it is a very dark blue, and then you've got a lot of black on the helmet as well. So it almost feels like, what is the blue bringing? What is it adding? Now, the Bearman kind of symbol on the side is cool on the top. That works, just like Max's. He's got his lion on the top, Ollie's got his bear. But the actual design is quite generic, I think. It feels like a lot similar, right? The base composition doesn't feel very distinctive to me. So it doesn't hit the distinctive points. I don't think the colour palette hits. I'm gonna have to put this Is it a clanger? Is it a clanger from Ollie? Ollie, I'm sorry, mate. Like, Chelmsford boy, but I don't like it, mate. I'm sorry. Oscars is too much. It's too fiddly. It's better than Oscars, but it's a clanger. The Chelmsford bias is not enough, okay, to carry to carry you on this tier list, okay? Right. 4 to go. We're almost there. 3 to go, sorry. Andrea Antonelli. Next. So the Mercedes man is rocking a very busy helmet. We've got obviously the Italian white, red and green, which is cool. You've got the blue, you've got black in there as well. It's a lot going on. Stars on the top, gradient. The sponsors are struggling here. I really think the sponsors, compared to how legible the sponsors are on George's helmet, I can literally show. Look at how legible the sponsors are on George's, right? Because of how much simpler it is compared to on Kimi's. I'd love to, like, a full Italian helmet where you drop as many of the other colours as possible. And look, I know drivers are restricted and certain sponsors want to be seen against certain backgrounds. I understand, right? I don't have the knowledge to know exactly what restrictions are for each helmet. I'm just judging it based off what I think would be a better helmet design for these sponsors as well, right? To help the sponsors out. And, you know, we've seen it on George's helmet. We've seen that you can make this work. And unfortunately, I don't think Antonelli has. Too many colours, fairly generic design as well, and it's quite fiddly on the side. I don't like it, to be honest. And I think this might be a clanger as well, you know. I think I like it more than Ollie and Oscars. You know what, it's there. I'm satisfied with that, to be honest. There's not many mild clangs, but there's some... Yeah, these three honk, I'm afraid. Just not my cup of tea at all. Right, almost there. Back to Andrea Antonelli. And next... the seventh rookie, Fernando Alonso. Now, this is a classic, okay? Classic design. It uses the Aston Martin neon instead of yellow, which does bug me because outside of that, it's great. It really is. And he's run it for so long, it's just become very established, very recognizable as Fernando Alonso's helmet. I mean, whatever I've said in the past about Alonso's lid still carries weight today. So, look, for me, because of the neon, and because of the neon kind of spoiling what should be a clear banger, I'm feeling here. I'm feeling behind Bortoletto. Look at how good that yellow looks on Carlos's lid versus the neon here. It's a slight difference, but it makes a lot of difference. When you're messing with a classic, it makes a big difference, okay? So Fernando, small bang. And then finally, last but by no means least, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Albon. These are some phenomenal shots, by the way, I got of this helmet, just to help it. Now, you know I love this helmet. You know, you can see how well it matches my pink, all right? And you've got the deep blue. It's a great lid, but I do think it's a bit of a downgrade. It's gone a bit fiddly on the side, bringing the kind of strip that kind of zigzags up the side. And the angle is kind of low. The two shades of blue and then the pink is lovely. The tyre flag on the back is lovely. It's still a banger, okay? It's still a banger for me, but it isn't as good as it was, I think. I think it has taken a bit of a step back because he's just got to try to be a bit too slick with it. So because of that, in terms of putting him in this tier list, yeah, look, it's still a banger. Is it better than Max's? Do I like it more than Max's? Yes, I do. Do I like it more than Charles? I don't think I do. I think I prefer Charles' helmet. Okay, so this is what we have. Am I happy with this? Right, I'm going to move Hulkenberg, Lewis, swap them. These all feel right to me. Yeah, I'm happy with that. This is my tier list for the 2025 F1 driver helmets, all 20. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. As always, my name's Tommo. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-da.